Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So this video is a Patreon request by Mark from Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News. By the way, check out Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News. Great channel, excellent content, covers the sport from top to bottom. So big up to Mark. But ultimately, his Patreon topic was in regards to pound for pound rankings across the world, particularly across the mainstream publications. And ultimately, he was asking the question whether Western fighters, such as Errol Spence Jr., had an easier time cracking top 10 pound for pound rankings, and that the barrier of entry for guys like Errol Spence Jr. and other fighters from the West were lower in comparison to guys from other parts of the world, such as Asia, for example. You know, you see someone like Kazuta Ioka, who's a full-weight world champion, and he's only just being recognised after beating Kosei Tanaka, who himself is a free-weight world champion. It's only now where the West is recognising this guy's achievements and are actually now considering him to be a top 10 pound for pound level fighter, despite him having the resume to have achieved that quite some time ago. And I do believe there is validity in the argument that fighters from the West have to do a lot less to crack pound for pound lists in comparison to other fighters from around the world who may not be as well known in the West. Now, ultimately, yeah, the Ring magazine is a Western publication, but ultimately it's the self-proclaimed Bible of boxing. When you look at the panel who decide these pound-for-pound rankings, it's made of boxing writers, boxing journalists who should really have a good grasp on the sport and educate the masses in regards to other fighters who may not be as well known to the casual fan in the West, but who are achieving great things in their respective divisions. Ultimately, a big problem for me is the quality of journalism in boxing. I think a lot of the mainstream journalists have to be doing a much better job of covering these smaller guys in lower weight classes, because right now, these more obscure fighters have to do 5 times the work to get a sliver of the acclaim that a mainstream fighter in the West will get for achieving a lot less in a lot of cases. I mean, we can go back to 2012, where Adrian Broner, of all people, was listed as number 6 on the pound-for-pound list. Bear in mind, at this point, Adrian Broner's best win was Antonio DeMarco, and there was very little else on his resume. The only other guy was Ponce de Leon, and that fight was a robbery. And that was enough to get Adrian Broner as the 6th best fighter in the world pound-for-pound in 2012 by the Ring magazine. Also in 2012, Robert Guerrero was ranked at number 10 pound for pound in the world. Bear that in mind. And obviously, you know, this year, Errol Spence Jr. is ranked number 5 pound for pound. Yeah, Errol Spence Jr., he's got a couple of good wins. He's got Sean Porter, which was a very good win. Danny Garcia is a solid win. And Kell Brook's a good win. But is that body of work really enough to get you the number 5 spot in any respectable pound for pound list? I'm not entirely convinced, to be honest. Whereas Kazuta Ioka, a 4-weight world champion, he's been in multiple world title fights, beat multiple world champions, just beat Kosei Tanaka, who was unbeaten and a 3-weight world champion. It's taken until now for this guy to be even considered to be a top 10 pound for pound level fighter. Objectively speaking, there's no way anybody can say Errol Spence Jr. has achieved more in the sport than Kosei Tanaka. There's just no way whatsoever. He's not got a better resume. He's not won as many titles. He's not been through as many weight classes, you know, and he's not fought the level of competition consistently that Kazuta Ioka has. Yet here we have Kazuta Ioka, currently right now, is not even listed as a top 10 pound for pound level fighter. To me, that's not justifiable. And, you know, I've heard the argument that these guys from Asia, these smaller guys, they've got no name value, nobody knows who they are, so why should we waste a spot on the pound for pound list for these guys? Well, when you look at the reason why pound for pound was originally created, it was essentially created to acknowledge the greatness of Sugar Ray Robinson at the time, because obviously back then the heavyweights were king. The heavyweight champion was the man, and that was it. Ultimately, everybody below him was insignificant by comparison. You know, the reason pound for pound was created was to give these smaller guys a bit of limelight And to say these guys don't deserve to be on there because of their profile in the West really contradicts the reason pound for pound was created in the first place when you really think about it. Pound for pound was originally created to, like I said, give guys a bit of a shine outside the heavyweight division, guys who didn't have as high a profile. If you're saying now that these guys don't deserve to be on these lists because they have no profile, then like I said, that just contradicts the original reason why pound for pound was created in the first place. But reality is, a lot of the mainstream publications, their pound for pound lists is not only based on accolades, it's also based on popularity, drawing power, and the fighters' fan bases. And right now, looking at these lists, I cannot see how people can dispute that. Explain to me how beating Kell Brook coming off a loss is enough to get you pound for pound. However, on the same watch, being a full-weight world champion with multiple wins over former, current and future world champions, that's not enough to get you pound for pound. I just don't understand that discrepancy, in all honesty. I really don't. Like I said, the answer to it is obvious. It's just because a lot of these guys are not well known in the West, and apparently that's an excuse for mainstream publications and boxing journalists not to recognise these guys and their achievements. And quite frankly, to me, that's not good enough. So going into 2021, I do believe the journalists in boxing, the Ring Magazine, etc., need to do a much better job in covering these smaller guys and just really giving them the credit they deserve. You know, people like Dougie Fisher, Steve Kim, etc., they need to be doing a much better job than they are currently doing. It's just that simple. At the very least, I think a lot of these guys need to break down how they got to their lists and, you know, release some sort of criteria in regards to how they got there. That would be appreciated, because at least then I can understand why some of these guys rank the likes of Errol Spence Jr. above Kazuta Ioka, Juan Francisco Estrada, etc. But yeah, just a quick little video, a bit of a food for thought type video. Me personally, I know it sounds super contradictory, but I'm not really a big fan of pound for pound anyway. But if you're going to do it as a mainstream publication, at least be somewhat fair with it and give everybody a fair shake, because it looks to me like certain fighters, the entry requirements are a lot less than others. That's all I'll say. And yeah, shout out to Mark from Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News for this topic. Definitely an interesting one. I'm sure some of you guys are going to be a lot more passionate about this than me. But yeah, I mean, share your thoughts below. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. Peace.